Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show.
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline. I am Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP. I'm joined by none other than Pace Morby, Mr. Sub 2, Mr. Creative Finance. I'm going to start hot today for all you beautiful and powerful real estate entrepreneurs. And this is from doing a little bit of reading. Actually, I have this new app, Pace, called Blinkist, and it's really, really interesting. You can get through a book in 15 minutes. And so on a vacation last week, I went through about 12 books, and it was phenomenal. And I always save the notes. And I want to start with this because I think this is really important. I think that this is the core element of our brain that is going to decide whether or not we take action on a daily basis to move our business forward in a positive way. And it all starts with our subconscious, of course. But let me give you this. Let me read this, and then Pace, you and I will discuss it, and then we'll discuss it in the side here. Everybody has specific thought structures saved permanently on their internal hard drives. Millionaires are programmed for wealth, while others are programmed for a medium or low income level. Childhood experiences and role models shape these thoughts patterns and guide our behavior to such an extent that they directly influence our level of wealth later on. Most people are programmed to earn a low income, which means that many people have the potential to get rich, but very few people manage to stay rich and accumulate lasting wealth. Whether we're talking thousands, millions, or even billions, people's incomes hardly end up deviating from the levels that they were set up from childhood. Why? Because their subconscious regulates them like a thermostat. If that thermostat is set too low, as soon as they get their hands on some extra cash, they throw their money around. But if their thermostat is set on high, that is on wealth, they immediately offset a money shortage by saving and usually make sure their wealth grows. What do you guys think about that? Pace, what are your thoughts there, brother?
I thought about this literally for like 4 hours today as I drove from Montana to Idaho. As I was thinking about all the people I run into in my life, that their number one problem is what is in their brain that was programmed from their parents, their other resources, the people that they're around. It is crazy. I wish I knew this in my 20s, but unfortunately I had to learn it in my early 30s and still learning it every single day the more people I interact with.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, you've coached a lot of people. I've coached a lot of people. We've been around a lot of people. We've been in incredible masterminds. We've been around people that are, have $400 million, right? We've been around people that have $100 million, $50 million. And you're like, yeah, these people are flesh and blood, all like us. The only difference is this thing. Right? The only thing is this thing. What is the thermostat? And I think that's a really interesting analogy, right? Like the thermostat. If you're programmed and you're like, $50 is a lot, or $1,000 is a lot, or $5,000 is a lot, and you get that, then all of a sudden subconsciously sometimes, and this happened when I was young for sure, because I thought 100,000 was like $1 million, right, Pace? I mean, it was just you're 22 years old, you make six figures, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm the richest man in Babylon, right? And then all of a sudden you start spending money on bottles and on cars and on, whatever, places to live and vacations and all these other things, which is great. But The really interesting thing is if you set your thermostat up high, and he talks about you can change that. Everything can be changed by the people that you surround yourself with and the affirmations that you put into your brain every single day, and actually say, I have a millionaire mind. I'm focused on building wealth. I have a millionaire mind. I'm focused on wealth. And it sounds like hokey, but it actually does affect our subconscious. Have you ever been through anything like that, Pace? Have you always had this big motor? Did you always feel like, because you're not big and flashy, I mean, you're not going out there. I mean, yes, you have a giant house, but you got that.
You didn't see my new watch, bro?
Yeah, right.
My 2 new watches.
And your Ferrari, what is it? A Ferrari now, and a Porsche, and a Lamborghini, and a Rolls Royce, and a Bentley. All of them. You got the
Ferrari,
5 horsemen.
I got the Ferrari Prius edition, dog. It's dope.
That's right. But I mean, did you always have that? You know, I want to kind of dig into your brain a little bit, because I'm genuinely very curious, because you've done a phenomenal job this year of really adding to your wealth, really adding to your portfolio, going after multifamily, going after Airbnbs, doing some incredible things. I think that you were negotiating like a trailer park, or maybe bought one. I don't know. You know, what keeps you from really just going bananas with your money and like really throwing it around?
That's a really great question. I think that I have done that in my 20s when I thought $100,000 a year was a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I used to think $100,000 was like the top income level, right? Because when you grow up, people are like, oh, you're going to earn 6 figures. And that gets programmed in your mind, going back to what you talked about with Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. You're programmed by the people you're around. And I'll answer your question in a very long answer, if you don't mind. So
got it.
I'm with Jerry Norton at his mountain house. And we're there 3 days with Jerry. We don't talk about work at all. Like, we're just hanging out, vibing, tubing, lake, Glacier National Park, food, barbecue, whatever. And in 5 minutes of talking to Jerry about his business model, he's got this big development he's doing in Puerto Rico. And he's like, yeah, we'll probably walk away netting around $40 million. And he says it casually, like I used to when I was 20 years old. It was like me telling my friends, like, I just made $5,000, dude, in 1 week. It was like casually like that. And I was like, hold on. You're telling me you made $40 million. And his response was like, well, yeah, isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? And it's like being around the right people that have the different expectations of life than you. It rubs off on you in a way that's indescribable. You just have to be in the right rooms with the right people. Whereas when I was 20, or I'm 21 years old. I come off my mission from Korea, and I'm working for a manufacturing company, and I know I'm doing a killer job. I'm bringing in millions of dollars of business. I'm bringing in millions of dollars of credit from suppliers. I was a procurement manager for them for a while. And I went to them and they said, I want to get a raise. And they go, okay, well, great. How much, would make you happy? And I go, well, and I divided $100,000 by 12 months.
Yep.
And I came up with whatever was $8,800 was my $8,300.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, they immediately said, no, you're too young for that. You're too young for that. You got the whole world ahead of you. You got your whole life ahead of you, and you're already asking to make $100,000. And my immediate response to that, Brett, was, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm sorry. And I then worked for them for another year. And then I mustered the courage to then ask for $100,000. But this time was a little bit different. I had read a book, and the book was about how to negotiate and whatever else. I was starting to, work on self-development at the time.
Yeah.
And the book told me, hey, I was poached by another company. They're offering me $120,000. I'd love to stick around, but I got to make $120,000. Bro, in 1 second, they were like 150, 150.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple of things here that you talked about in that quote. That quote is so powerful. It's so freaking powerful, and it's so true. The environment I was in when I was 21 made me believe that $100,000 was too much for me to ask for. And they putting their thumbs on me, trying to control me and control my ability to make income. And then when you get around a guy like Jerry Norton or Brent Daniels or Jamil Damji or, Brent, honestly, you were one of the first people in my life that was like, if you're not making 25% more next year than you did last year, then I don't know that you can stay on my board of advisors.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, dang, like I got to try out to be this guy's friend. And it's when I really started taking things seriously. This is probably 5-6 years ago, in the sense of, dude, if I'm leaving my house, I'm leaving my wife, my kids, and other opportunities behind. It's my responsibility to go and grab new opportunities and bring them to my wife and kids and go, see what I did. I sacrificed time with you to bring something back in return. Well, if I'm doing that, well, guess who else is doing that? Brent Daniels or whoever else I'm doing business with. So I have a responsibility to go out in the world and find like-minded people that elevate each other, because if not, I'm stealing from them and they're stealing from me, and we're taking time away from our wives and children. And it's our responsibility to be around higher level thinkers, because you naturally, it's crazy. You don't even have to try hard. When you are around winners, you inevitably, without even trying, just become a different person.
Yep. I love it.
What about you? Did you have that same thought when you were growing up? Like, money's bad. I'm not worth $100,000 a year. $100,000 a year is too much for me. Anything like that?
I had, you know what, I had always valued it. I always thought that it was cool. I always thought that some of my Mormon friends, like Danny Ainge and their family, and Gus Brown and the Brown and Brown, they own the dealerships, and they had these big mansions and they had these big houses, and it was just big and beautiful. And I was like, wow, I wonder how they got there, and I wonder what they did. I was always interested in it, but I didn't really understand that it was the amount of value that you put out is equal to the amount of income that you get coming in. And it took me a long time to really understand that and kind of mature to that. But the reason I wanted to start with this, and I think Hancho has a good point here about when are we going to start talking about the wholesaling. I want to get to a point, and the reason I want to start with the mindset part of it is because I think oftentimes, and this is what I did, and I see this happen a lot, Pace, and I know that you have too, is people go in and they set up, I am going to only keep for myself $5,000 a month. I'm going to keep for myself $7,500 a month. And then the rest I'm going to invest into my business so that it grows and grows and grows. And I completely understand that. But in our business, in this industry, we're not creating, we're not inventors. All right. We're not creating the app. We're not creating the platform. What we're doing is we're going out there and we're providing a service, right? And the more we provide that service, the more skills we get built and the more money and income we can take home. But I see a lot of people try to leverage other people's skills way too early in their business and not take the money home because they're afraid of building the skill of conversion, of sales, of negotiating, of pre-qualifying, of lead follow-up, of doing the prospecting, and the hard work that it really takes to become a very strong business person, right? And they hide behind, well, I can just make $500 to $7,500. I'm doing it for myself. I've never made that money before. And now that's where my thermostat is at. And it's very difficult to explode your business and really make an impact in you and your family's life if you're not taking the profits and actually going and buying assets. So Hancho Biz, the reason we start with this, one, is so that we can get everybody on and everybody gets, start squatting up in the comments. But two, as you grow your business, Hancho, you have to realize to take the money home. Right? This business is not overly complicated. It's 3 parts: lead generation, or find the people that want to sell a distressed property; convert it, which means that you go in and you pre-qualify them and you negotiate and you get that property under contract; and then exit strategy. You can sell that, you can buy it and hold it, or you can flip it. That's what it is. Those are the 3 parts of the business. And so if there's any specific questions about those, we can certainly go through that.
Let me touch on that just real quick. Guys, we have been doing Wholesale Hotline for how many episodes?
129.
129. We have all of these episodes not only on Spotify, but also on iTunes and also on YouTube in a video format. So what's great about that is that we did in 2021, January, we went about 30 episodes chronological. And January 1, the first week of January in 2021, we said, what is wholesale real estate?
Yep.
The second episode is how to get started in wholesale real estate. So if you guys are saying, how do I get started? And what they're talking about today maybe is a little bit more about mindset than it is about how to get started in wholesale, we have done dedicated topics on those exact specific questions that you can go back and watch in chronological order that will really help you out. So don't sleep on those previous episodes. Now, I'll follow up and back up Brent on this. I can tell you that in the conversations I have in meetups, on Facebook, Instagram DMs, Zooms that I do, the number one reason why people fail at this business or anything else is their mindset and their lack of personal development. Number one, it's not your technique. It's really interesting also, like some of my heroes, when you start running into your heroes and having conversations and you say, how did you create success in maybe your students or people on YouTube or people in your books? And they all say, man, we've been teaching for 30 years just to find out that the number one thing we should have been teaching about was mindset and personal development.
Yep. Well, and it's your squad. It's the people that you surround yourself with. If you're just getting into this business, you have to find somebody that is successful in this. And that's what this comments, that's the real point of this show, is to squad up in the comments section. Let everybody know where you're doing business so you can find people that are like-minded. Because the fact is, you're going to have conversations with your family and your friends and loved ones, and you're going to be excited about this business, and they're going to look at you with dead eyes. They're going to just look glossed over, and they're going to have no idea what you're talking about. And that can really affect your mindset as well, because, you know, you become what you think about, obviously, but you start thinking about things more often if you surround yourself with people that are thinking about the same things. So
yeah, there was a question in here too earlier, and the question was, oh, by the way, guys, these kind of comments, we already know these are spam accounts like LaFlo Garand. He's talking about Ethereum and Bitcoin. Guys, we have no control over this. These are way smarter people than we are. I don't know how they get in here. I don't know how they find us, but they've got amazing bot technology.
Yeah.
If I was going to invest anything with them, it would be investing in their bot technology. Definitely not their Ethereum and their Bitcoin, because they're scammers. So guys, we know they're scammers. We know in the side chat that they're scammers. We just choose not to address them. So I choose the same. I want you guys to do the same thing. Don't address them. Don't worry about them. Don't let them bother you. Just focus on what's going on with other people besides them. Okay. We can't stop them. They're a bunch of knuckleheads in some third world country scamming people that are in our side chats, you know.
I just want to give a shout out here to John. John, congratulations. You got a victory bell. He's got 3 deals. If you need some help in Tampa, St. Pete, Orlando, here you go.
Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom.
Love it. Love it. Congratulations, John. Keep up the good work.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So they're just billboards running down the highway. I love it. I absolutely love it. So guys, if you are on Facebook, just so you know, most people have switched from Facebook to YouTube. So if you guys are over there on Facebook, let's see how many people are on Facebook. It's really, my Facebook group has about 40 people and Jamil's has about 15. So guys, come on over to YouTube. YouTube is really nice. Come on over to YouTube. Whether it's Jamil's, Brent's, or my YouTube channel, come on over. We'd love to see you guys, okay? It's usually the Facebook people that are spamming and scamming. Okay, here we go. Jackie Knight.
Yep.
Hey, Pace and Brent, how do you guys go about getting confident in everything y'all do? This is a great question. Why don't you lead us off with that?
Skills and squad. Skills, squad. You could put systems in there if we want to round this out with the 3 S's. But the number one is you have to build your skills. If you have something that you want to get and you need to change, the change is going to be tough. It's going to be that punch in the gut. You have to learn how to build your skills by actually doing it, which in our business is having quality conversations with people that own ugly houses. Okay. Yeah. Now listen, Pace teaches a lot about going after properties that aren't ugly, but you do it creatively. If there's a creative solution to that, you can also sell those deals as a wholesale deal. You don't have to take all those down. You could sell them to somebody like Pace or somebody else in your marketplace that wants to build their portfolio. It's just when you're starting out, you can literally go out with no budget, go down the street, find ugly houses, and go to batchskiptracing.com, get the phone number for them, and call them. Literally just call them up and see if they would consider an offer on their property. So build the skills, build the system, and then you got to be around the people that are strong, Jackie. You got to find people that are making a difference in the community, people that are truly building long-lasting businesses, not the people that are hustling and they're grabbing on things that are a little bit too, they get it fast, but it goes quick and it doesn't last, and then all of a sudden it's gone. People that are real business people that are obsessed with learning and growing and being around people that are doing more than them. That's the key, I think. What do you think, Pace?
Here's what's interesting. There are 23 things that a second child will learn faster than the first child. Think about that. The first child, on average in the United States, learns how to walk at about a year and 1 month. They learn how to talk and complete for like a full sentence at about 2-year mark. However, the second child learns at about 25% faster. They average at about 10 to 11 months walking, and somewhere around a year and a half to a year and 7 months completing full sentences. Why do you think that is the case? It obviously didn't come from the parent. It's coming from the children watching the other children, people that you are in closer proximity to. So squatting up, you're going to walk faster. You're going to talk faster. You're going to, again, 23 things are done faster, learned faster, and experienced faster. Even proven scientific fact that children get their first injury faster if they're a second child than the first child, like even the good and the bad. So you need to get around other people that already know how to walk, already know how to talk, so that they give you, one, unspoken permission to do the same thing, and two, they give you a really clear guide on what to do. I can tell you that the people I like learning from the most are people that are typically only 1 lap or 2 laps ahead of me in the race of life, because I know it's possible I can reach them. If I'm sitting there learning from somebody that isn't doing the business or used to be in the business 10, 15 years ago or whatever, and they're so disconnected, I'm going to have a hard time learning because they're not actively in the business. So get around people that are actively in the business. Now, when we say that, people go, oh, that's common sense. That makes so much sense. Oh my gosh, if Pace says it's true and science says it's true, then gosh dang it, I'm sure it's true. Okay, great. Well, what are you going to do about it when I say go hang out with those other people, those first children? Okay, let's list off a couple things. Okay, Brent Daniels, Jamil, and myself, we all have communities that go out and actually do meetups. They go to pizza joints. They go to bowling alleys. They go knock doors together. They do cold calls together. They go drive for deals together. Get out and get around each other. We are, us human beings, we're social animals. We cannot just be on Zoom. We cannot just be on podcasts. We have to be out there watching each other walk, and then you will start walking yourself.
That's it. Yeah, and listen, if you want to, real quick, I want to celebrate a 15K deal and a 10K deal. Who was that? Glenn, here you go. Closing deals in a transitioning market. I love it. Congratulations. You're 100% right. 4-minute mile. If you see it and you see it done, you feel like you can do it. I'm just telling you, it's absolutely the facts. And
what are you seeing? Let's do a market update. Are you guys seeing anything different recently in wholesale, talking to sellers? Anything that your team is seeing from the seller side? Are they softening? Are they, fearful? What's going on? Anything you're seeing?
We're doing a couple different things, Pace. And I did a video of it. It's very Jerry Norton-esque with me calling real estate agents on. Listen, I'm telling you, these ugly properties that are really run down on the MLS that are over 30, 60, 90 days that are just rotting on the market are going to sell for 30 to 50%. I'm just telling you, it might be tomorrow, it might be 30 days, it might be 90 days, but they missed the peak, they missed the window. Go after those, call them up, go on Zillow, put in the average day, put on minimum days on market, 30 days, and go bananas and look for the cheapest, ugliest houses and offer them 30% for real. because they're not going to sell it. They're not going to sell it to a fix and flipper. They've rejected offers. Now those fix and flippers don't want it anymore, and you're going to be able to get it at an unbelievable price. Don't fall for their, well, we got this offer that was like 80 or 90% of what they have it listed for. Those are automatic offers, probably from people that are using Privy, people that are scraping the MLS, and they're doing that type of thing. Okay, that's number one. Number two is, these sellers, Pace, they're falling out of escrow left and right with wholesalers that will do anything to lock up a deal, and then they can't sell it. Then they have to go and try to renegotiate the price, or they cancel. All right. Sometimes they renegotiate the price and it makes sense, but 50-50, they cancel and they're pissed off at the person that locked them up and didn't tell them the truth about what was going on in the market and what price this would actually sell at. So we're snatching those up as well. So it's, if somebody has an offer on a property and they've accepted it, follow up with them for 2 weeks. Typically an inspection period in real estate is 10 days. That's when it's going to be make or break for a lot of these wholesalers to try to sell their deals. A lot of them have not been disciplined and built their own cash buyer database. They've been putting it on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or something like that, and they can't get them sold anymore. All right. It is now a buyer's market. You need to be best friends with your buyers. You need to know exactly what they're looking for, and you need to reverse engineer your efforts to go after what the cash buyers are buying now, which is typically closer to in town, closer to town. The rural properties, the rural areas, the smaller towns are going to get hit harder because there's less cash buyers in those areas. Pace,
Okay,
what do you think?
Check this out. This is great. I love what you just talked about. I think this is one of the smartest things we brought up today. So check this out. I'm going to do a little screen share, show you a property I just closed on. You can see, you see, I even paid a little over retail, but I'll tell you why I did. Okay. And you guys will say, I love it. Show me. I want to pay over retail a little bit if you get those terms. Check this out. So this property can you see the address? Do you see the house? Okay, cool.
Yep.
So this house actually is 2 houses. Okay. So this property actually has 2 houses on the same lot. So let's pull this up. You'll see if you zoom in a little bit.
Yep.
This property has 2 houses on it. So this is a 3-bed, 2-bath, and this is a 3-bed, 2.5 bath. Okay.
Love it. Yep.
So this property, what happens is the wholesaler locks it up for $630,000 because he was selling it to a hedge fund.
Mm-hmm.
And if I listened to the seller and the seller said, it's sold, stop bothering me, I would not have this house for $0 down and 0% interest for 30 years. This deal, I am now renting this to Patrick. You know Patrick, the sober investor?
Yep.
So Patrick, the sober investor, is renting both of these properties. My payment to the seller starts next month. It's $3,500, 0% interest. And here, I'll tell you how I got this lead. Okay.
Yep.
So So I'm turning around renting it to Patrick. I don't have to do anything to the property. The properties are vacant. I'm renting it to him basically for about $5,500. So I'll make $2,000 a month net cash flow. He's in charge of all maintenance. He's in charge of insurance. He's in charge of everything because he's running sober living out of there. And my $3,500 payment is paying down the balance to the seller. Here's where the lead came from. Okay. The lead came from a cold call from a wholesaler, got a cold called, set up a lead. Wholesaler locks it up under contract for $630,000. What happens to hedge funds like 2 months ago, guys?
Gone.
Gone.
Evaporation.
Evaporation. So what happened is if this lead, so here's what happened. One of my people, the wholesaler reaches out to them because they know creative finance. And this wholesaler is like, I don't know what to do. I'm going to look like an idiot. And basically we paid this wholesaler $10,000 to let us just take over the relationship. We bought the deal. So they got paid $10,000 just to get out of the way. Right. So guys, there are deals out there, both creative and cash, that are falling out of escrow because people have no exit strategy. This deal, because we followed up for 2 weeks, What's going on? 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 Is the hedge fund really going to cancel? Is the hedge fund really going to cancel? Is the hedge fund? We followed up with a wholesaler who had the property under contract.
Mm-hmm.
We still followed up because we knew what was going on in the marketplace is a lot of contracts are falling out of escrow. So what Brent is telling you is even when a seller you're following up with says, I'm already under contract, it's going to close in 2 weeks. Brent, should I stop following up with that seller or should I keep following up?
Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep following up. I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot. Being the safety net is going to, be just wildly rewarding when you get those deals closed for those sellers. They're just going to love you. They're going to send you Christmas cards for life. And two, you're going to get phenomenal deals because they've already been beat up. They've been dragged through the process. They want to get realistic, and it only works for realistic sellers. Now, here's the thing. I ran into a lot just calling myself of people that didn't need to sell Pace, right? They bought it in 2011, 2012 in Phoenix. They have a ton of equity. They own it free and clear. They're just trying to see if they can put trash on the market and get top dollar for it. And they missed. They just missed. They missed by about 6 months, and that's fine. And so a lot of those people will get it all. They'll take it off the market and they'll keep it for forever and do something with it. But I'm talking about the people that have to sell it, the people that need to get that money out for something, people that need to whatever. They need to sell this property because they just inherited it and they can't take care of it, or they need to get rid of it because of the tax default, or maybe they're behind on payments or whatever else. The people that truly want to sell and truly need to sell in this market, those are going to be the best deals. And I'm telling you, they're not going to be able to get top dollar on the market for it. They'll have to get realistic. So Base, real quick. So you got it for $680. Did you have to put anything down?
No.
Zero down.
0% interest.
And just $3,500 until you pay it off.
3,500 until I paid off. That's the number they wanted.
Balloon?
No balloon. If they wanted
how many months is that?
So when I originally went to them, here's what I did. I was like, okay, so 680. And I was like, all right, I'm going to pay you over 30 years. And they were like, okay, that's fine. And they go, what's the payment? I go, it's like $1,800. And they're like, no, we're already receiving $1,000 per house. So it would have to be that plus more for us to do this. And I go, great, name your number. And so they said, we want $3,500. So what we did is I did the same thing, 680 divided by 3,500. It's, hold on. 680 divided by 3,500. Mm-hmm. So it's 194 months divided by 12. So I'll have that paid off in 16 years.
Yep.
That's insane.
Insane. And you rented it for how much?
I'm renting it to Patrick for $5,500. I have no maintenance. No, I'm not paying the insurance. He has to pay the insurance because it's a sober living thing. So I'm like, my true net is $2,000 a month. On
$2,000. That'll pay for your Lambo. Or your Lambo's insurance.
That'll pay for my Lambo's insurance. Now I feel like I should get a Lambo.
If you drove a Lambo to the office, dude, I would flip it over. I will flip it over. I will literally flip it right over.
No, not my style, dude. Not my style. Here's a good question. So Aaron Rosen says, do you guys see any creative financing going on in Miami? Aaron, if you go into the creative finance with Pace Morby Facebook group, you will see that there is creative finance going on all over the country. I've got students in every county of every part of the country doing freaking deals with creative finance, sub-2, seller finance, novation agreements, Morby method, all the stuff. Lots of deals.
Can we go back to this Pace? Because Brandon is just a phenomenal human, real estate entrepreneur. And so he's got a deal here. Let me ask you this. So when you read this right off the bat, what does your gut say?
No.
Right. Why?
Down payment.
How much?
He's asking. They want to walk away with $100,000. That means they want $100,000 in their pocket, right? So he's saying
want retail, and you take over their. So is there a threshold that people should, that you're looking at Pace that is okay? If they want 20,000 down, that's the most I'll put down on a deal that is in this kind of ballpark. Not the bigger deals, not the crazier deals, not some of the phenomenal ones that you're putting together, but something that's like kind of right there in Atlanta, kind of in that medium.
Think about it this way. So how many landlords, let's Google this. I think we should answer this. How many landlords are in the United States, unless you already know this?
19 million.
Okay, so there's 19 million landlords. Okay, and there's 2 million. There's
rental properties. I assume, people like you own 1,000. So there's probably like, I don't know, 10 million, actual.
so
yeah.
10 million people for a very long time have been buying properties with an average of 30% down payments.
Yep.
Now, with recent really good lending and competitive lending, now a lot of that's kind of gone away in recent, last couple of months. But there's lenders that will lend at 20%. Okay. So if I can get a traditional mortgage for 20% down, immediately, if I have to put more than 20% down or even close to 20% down, my gut reaction on a creative finance deal is no.
Yep.
Because here's the only disadvantage with creative finance is that I can't just go pick something off the MLS necessarily. Yes, there are some creative finance deals. Like I could go to landwatch.com. There's a lot of owner finance stuff out there. You could go on MLS. There's a lot of owner finance there. But I'm typically not able to select it off of a website and go, I want that one. Let me go get a loan. Because that's not what this is.
Right.
With creative finance, I have to find a seller through marketing or somebody else bringing the deal to me, which means I didn't choose that deal. Okay, great. If I didn't choose the deal, then I want to make sure that the terms are better than what I could get at a bank. Okay, so there immediately is your first threshold. So when people say, what's the threshold? Well, why would I buy that house, Brandon, over another house that I could just go select that doesn't need renovation and actually put less money down? This seller is asking for $100,000 down. They owe 305. That means if ARV's, let's say 370, I'm going to pay over retail and over 25%. I'll pay about, what is that? 3.7. So let's do that. $100,000
25% down
divided by $370,000.
Wow.
That's 27% down.
Yep.
And what does that not include? Closing costs, renovation, a fee to Brandon, a couple of months and furniture. So I'm like 40% into this deal. So for me, typically, I want to be all into a deal. My entry fee, my 7 parts of my entry fee, cash to the seller, arrears, any liens, assignment fee, closing costs, renovation, a couple months of payments, and my marketing for, let's say, Airbnb. I want to be all into that deal 10% or less. So I look at a deal like this, and if they want to sell it to me for $370, I got to figure out how can I be into this deal for $37,000 or less.
And are they behind, right? You talked about arrears, which is kind of a big fancy word for how much are they behind? How much have they not made on their payments, right? And
this is
the title and escrow, right?
Yeah, this is you want to see the perfectly structured deal. I'll show you. If you want to see like when somebody sends me a deal, they don't even know how to present a creative finance deal. So let's pull this up just real fast.
Let's do it.
I've got a student of mine that sent me the perfect structure of a deal.
And by the way, guys, listen, I love ugly houses and big checks. You know that. I do a show every Wednesday at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you join us for that. But the reason that we're talking about creative finance is in these transitioning markets, when it becomes a buyer's market, you need to understand different approaches. There's like 3 different parts, right? You got a wholesale offer here. In the middle is kind of a novation, and we can get into that someday. And then on the end here is creative financing. And if you get these 3 here, you're going to be really, really, really solid. But my opinion, Pace, when you're getting started, just start with the ugly houses and get the ball rolling with those so that you can get some big checks in and just wholesale, and then start learning the other strategies as you go along, because there are more steps, different paperwork, a little bit more guidance that you'll need to navigate those waters besides, hey, here's an offer and sell that offer to somebody else and get a check, right? So if you're just getting started, and somebody put in here, Pace, just how do you start with no money or little money down? Tyler, find an ugly house and call the property owner. It costs you 12 to 14 cents a batch skip tracing or batch leads to go and get all the information that you need. Use the coupon code SQUAD UP, and you get a discount on that. But for real, you can go and find an ugly house right now, have a conversation, and start this process. The average assignment fee around the country is $15,000. What would $15,000 do to kickstart your business? It'll do a lot. I'm telling you. I just answered my own question. Boom.
All right,
ahead,
so
Dave.
here we go. The deal that I have, I won't do this today because my internet here in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho is a little bit janky and it won't let me pull this up. But I have the perfectly, my students get trained on how to present a deal to me. Okay.
Love it.
And what happens a lot of times is people go, Pace, will you look at a deal and the seller wants $20,000 down? And I go, okay, well, what about the other 6 things that I got to worry about? And they go, what are those 6 things? So let me tell you guys what those 6 things are just really quick. Write this down, guys. Get your notes out. Okay. When you guys want to do a deal with me, these are the things you got to know in order to do a deal with me. Okay. I'm going to give you guys some notes. All right. We're going to type them out together. Here we go. Number 1. How much goes to the seller?
Mm-hmm.
I also call this cash to seller.
Yep.
Okay. Number 2. All right, guys, this is smaller, but whatever. You guys will deal with it. Number 2 is, are there arrears, liens that need to be paid off?
Explain arrears again and lien.
So arrears would be I'm behind on my monthly payments. Let's say I haven't made my monthly payment. I'm the seller.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't made 4 months of payments and my payments are $1,500. That means somebody has to catch up those $6,000 worth of payments before we do a transaction. Okay.
Or what happens?
Well, you can. I take over houses that have arrears, but they'll get foreclosed on.
Right.
Okay. I just
don't
took
pay
one
them
over.
off.
Yeah, I just took one over that's in a foreclosure. I took it over subject to before I caught up the arrears, but it was a very special circumstances. You can absolutely buy a house that has liens and has arrears. You can transfer the deed to your name, but you really shouldn't unless you know what the hell you're doing. So don't do that.
Right.
Arrears, liens that need to be paid before escrow is closed.
What would be a lien, Pace?
A lien would be like the seller didn't pay his child support, and so he has a child support lien. The seller didn't pay a contractor that did work on the house.
HOA.
The seller hasn't paid their federal taxes or their state and county taxes. There's like 100 different types of liens, right?
Yep.
Number 3, everybody. Let's see if I can make this all big. What do you guys say? There we go. Shit, I suck. Okay, number 3. How much do you want, you knucklehead?
Yep.
People always come to me and go, you want to buy this deal? Guys, creative finance is one of those things where I actually need to know what you're making on your assignment. Today, just so you know, today on a creative finance assignment, I paid my largest assignment fee ever. I paid $200,000 on a creative finance assignment. I don't care how much you make. I need to know if it works for me. Okay? How much do you want? That's number 3. Don't tell it to me on number 1. Don't tell it to me on number 2. It's number 3. The first thing I need to know is, what does the seller want? And what Brandon's telling us is the seller wants $100,000. And if he's not including these other 6 things, then I know that we're off.
Yep.
Okay, closing costs. I always associate this to about 2% of the purchase. Okay, so if it's a $400,000 house, it's going to cost me $8,000. That's average. In Arizona, I can get away with like 1.3%. In Nevada, it's like 2.3%. Okay. Every state's a little bit different. Okay. So number 5, do I need to clean it up before I rent it out?
Love it.
Right. I gotta put something into it. Right. Number 6.
Average, real quick, Pace. Average price for renovation, if it's rough, are you going $40?
Yeah, about $40 a foot.
And if it's just carpet and paint, kind of clean it up.
Carpet paint, I mean, you're averaging probably about $15 to $20 a foot. Still.
There you go, guys. So don't overthink this. Look at the square footage. Is it totally destroyed? $40 a square foot. Is it something that's cosmetic? $20 a square foot. Use it. Use it. Don't go in and try to get like some builder's, software to put in how much baseboards cost. Stop it. Just use those metrics.
So take a look at this. So number 6 is, I call this my runway costs. Okay. So as I'm getting ready for my rental to take off, or my Airbnb to take off, or my corporate housing to take off, I've got a runway I've got to build. That means I've got an empty house that's getting renovated, getting furnished. I have to pay for furniture, utilities, all these things, and I have to make a payment. I now own a house that has a payment on it. So I usually take the payment plus the utilities plus miscellaneous like bug control, pet pool control, or pool maintenance, landscape maintenance, and I multiply that by 3, and that is my maintenance cost, or that's my runway cost. Okay. Yep. So some people are going to be really confused by that. And then 7 is if it's an Airbnb, what's my furniture?
Yep.
Right. If it's a rental, I probably need to pay an agent a $500 fee to get it rented out. Right. So it's kind of like, what is it going to cost me to get me it filled out? So that deal I showed you guys a little bit earlier, I'll tell it to you. Cash to seller, $0.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Arrears and liens, $0.
Love it.
How much did I pay the assignment to the wholesaler? They made $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
Closing costs. Hey, guess what? I had the seller pay the closing costs. I paid $0. My renovation, if I was going to turn this into an Airbnb, it would have been way bigger. Yep. But instead, because I'm renting it to a sober living house, they couldn't care any less. So I'm spending $0. However, here's the interesting thing. My runway, Patrick can't rent this until August 15th. So I'm going to have a payment of $3,500 plus some utilities. Let's say $500 just to be safe. I'm going to have a cost of $4,000 before Patrick gets in there and I start cash flowing. Number 7 cost me $0 to get somebody in there, right? So rental marketing fee, let's just call it.
How did you know to make this a sober living?
Because if you look at the area, it's not a great Airbnb. It's like a bunch of meth people riding around on bicycles. And like, I didn't want to get a call in the middle of the night on Airbnb and somebody go, "Hey, I was just stabbed. Can you please help me?" It's not a safe area.
In your network, right? You know who to reach out to see if they want this deal.
He's in a mastermind with
me.
Yeah.
So
here's how it works. Now, what's my total entry fee? I call this my total entry fee. I'm entering into the deal. What's it going to cost me? That's a fee. Entry fee. What's my entry fee? $14,000. Okay, my $14,000 entry fee, and my cash flow monthly is $2,000 net. If you multiply that by 12 months, that's $24,000.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do the math. $24,000 divided by $14,000. My cash on cash return is 174% is my cash on cash return. That's how I know that's a good deal. Where else can I find an investment that's going to pay me 174% on my money? Anywhere? Anyone? Bueller?
Real estate, baby. Well, and the reason I brought that up, that he was in your network, is because that saved you the cost there. You have the runway costs of 3 times that, right? Yeah. So it would have been more if you had to put it out on the market, or you had to find somebody that would make sense for. But you had it in there because you talk to people, because you have a network, because you understand what people are looking for, and you can recognize the opportunity in that, because that would be perfect for sober living. Like that is why it's important to talk.
This is how easy it is to find stuff. Okay. Let's do this. I'm in a mastermind, so I'm grateful for that. And Brent's also in the same mastermind, so we know each other or know people. But check this out. Sober Living Atlanta. Here's what's going to happen. Cascade Heights Recovery voted best alcohol treatment. Guys, they're everywhere. What are you talking about?
You mean Sober Living America? Well, then what do you do, Pace? I mean,
you call them up and say, "Hey, I've got a property. Do you guys want to rent it from me?"
You call them?
No, I TTP them, bro.
It's that easy, right? You know what I mean?
Here's literally what I did with Patrick. I sent him a text.
Yep.
And I said, yo, I got a new address. I said, I got a new property. You want to rent it from me? And he's like, sure, I'm on vacation. I go, great. Keys are in the lockbox. Stop by anytime you want. He goes, takes the keys out of the lockbox, looks at it, goes, love it. When can I rent? I go, probably right now. I'm ready to go. I just closed escrow 2 days ago. And he goes, oh, I probably won't be ready till,
Sorry. I knew it was going to distract you.
oh, this is good. I like this. Jared Bell, do me a favor. Go to my YouTube channel. I don't think there's anybody better at teaching how to raise private capital right now in the industry. Type in YouTube, Pace Morby, raise capital. And I teach you exactly where that $14,000 comes from. Okay. Especially if you're brand new, you have no excuse. You have zero.
Give him a taste, Space. Give him a little taste. Give him a little taste.
Okay. So when I first started out, where a lot of my money came from are sellers. In fact, we had one of my sellers, Desiree, came on Wholesale Hotline last year. I have $110,000 of her money tied up in 5 deals. A seller who sold their house to me at 50 cents on the dollar gave me the money she got from the deal she sold to us, and I took all that money and bought 5 deals from it.
Mm-hmm.
Desiree came on Wholesale Hotline with us and talked about, like, oh yeah, I sold my house to Pace. He asked me when we were closing escrow. He said, Desiree, what are you going to do with that money? And I said, I don't know, buy a new car. And Pace said, well, how about if I make your car payments for you and I borrow that $110,000?
Mm-hmm.
That's one way. Sellers, okay? Sellers are a wonderful place to get your private capital. I can tell you right now, the second best place to get private capital is in my Sub-2 mentorship. Don't join it. Don't join my mentorship. Just go into my free Facebook group. My Sub-2 students are flush with cash. Every time I do a Zoom, I always do I go, guys, how much money do we have in this Zoom? And it's like 5 million, 10 million, $15 million. People have cash, lots of cash. Other real estate investors, they will partner with you. In fact, think about this. If I brought that deal to the table and I say, hey guys, I got a crazy good deal. Who wants to bring the 15 grand to the table? And I'll give you 30% ownership and I keep the other 70%. Their cash on cash return would still be like freaking, what would that be? It'd be about 60% return on their 15 grand. Why wouldn't they partner with me? So guys, raising money doesn't mean you're raising money. Sometimes you're partnering with other people that are looking for deals too. And those people are in the side chat with you right now. And so when we say go squat up, hang out with each other, there's probably a couple $1 million right now between the 600 plus people that are watching live.
Mm-hmm.
That's one and two of the maybe 30 ways I could tell you exactly where to get money, but go watch my YouTube. It'll answer the question.
I remember Pace probably 3.5, maybe 4 years ago. And you would document everything you did. You would document these rundown houses. You would document, you would go and putting together deals. You would document everything on your stories. And you get so mad at me. You said, you're not consuming my content enough. And I was like, I don't consume anybody's content. I got to figure this thing out. I'm 40. I don't know. So I started consuming more content, and I just see, people that post and get loud, which was last year's motto. Mantra, have an easier time raising money because people see the process. They see the grind. They see the light and electricity and the passion in your eyes when you are just documenting what is exciting to you, if this business is not exciting to you, it's going to be very difficult to be consistent and sustainable, right? This is, in my opinion, this is the greatest business of all time. Where else can you get 174% return on your money like that? And it's an asset. It's not just something fake. It's not an algorithm in a computer. It's not just a stock of some company that you have no control over. This is something that you own, right? So document what you're doing out there. And I'm telling you, the money will find you, and it finds you in weird ways. It's somebody's cousin or somebody's uncle. I remember in the last downturn, Mike Mahoney and I raised $2 million from our buddy's grandpa because they knew that we were doing real estate stuff. It was just all referrals. It was the easiest thing of all time. But if you're quiet, if you're hidden, if you're scared, if you're timid, it's going to be very difficult for you to go out there and really raise funds with a lot of certainty from the people that have it. So go out there and really document what you're doing and be loud and have a lot of passion for this business. Have conviction. Even more, have conviction. The people that are the most convicted make the most money in this business. Claudia, TTP family member here. What strategies can be deployed on a property that has a list pendants? Title can't transfer due to the code violations, which most have been taken care of. Others too expensive for seller. Asking 125 ARV 3.
Give me that deal right now.
Yeah.
You know what we do with that? We call the city.
Yep.
We have the city meet us at the property, tell us
Get 'em.
exactly, because they'll have a report, but their
Yep.
report is always a little bit different because you got to talk to the person who wrote the report. Say, meet me at the property. Let's talk about what the code violation is. Then use your credit card and pay a contractor to come fix the code violation, get it removed, and sell that bad boy and make $100,000.
Done deal. Done deal. Yeah, you got to find out what specifically is the code violation, and it can't be eating up 100,000. I mean, that would be crazy. What would be a code violation that you get hit for 100,000, Pace?
Maybe a sinking foundation or something
Right.
like that. But
Right.
I've never seen that.
Terribly hazardous, like
Right.
toxic waste in the backyard or front yard or something crazy. I mean,
Yeah,
that
even a foundation issue wouldn't be 100 grand. Maybe it'd be
No.
10 to 20.
Yeah. Yep. For real. So, Claudia, I know that you're in California, so the government wants to get as much money as they can out of you. So maybe they put some ridiculous code violations, but maybe you can negotiate them or just see what it really costs to get it taken off of, to remove those. Jeez. And move on and get that deal. But those numbers work. I mean, you're at 33% on that deal. That should work all day long.
That's a great deal. You could make 100 G's on that, just solving the problem with the seller. The thing is, there's a lot of people that don't even have $1,000. Oh, dude, here's a great story. Okay. By the way, Rob Ringlehand, good job, bro. He was struggling to gain momentum because he was not taking a lot of action, but he took action, got his first flip on the contract. Boom, 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 boom. For my sub-2 students, I don't know if people know this. Some of my new students are in the side chat, but I will sponsor your guys' fix and flip loans. If you guys can't get qualified for whatever reason, I will sponsor your loans. I will use my credit to help you guys on your fix and flips and not charge you for that credit. I just want to partner with you on the deal. So if you're a sub-2 student, just know that that's available too. So, dude, I
just got to jump over real quick, Pace, to love-chat.xyz. It's the best adult dating site.
Oh, I mean, where is it?
It sounds good.
I need to get the link.
It's in the comments about 1,000 times. They're crushing it. Wow. I'll tell you what. You know what, Pace? We made it, bro. We made it. When we get this many bots, holy cow, we made it. YouTube, listen up. We made it, baby. Send us the plaques. All right. There you go. That is bananas.
You and I are both going to get our 100K plaques this year. I bet. I guarantee it.
Yeah, that'll be. Listen, I truly believe, and this is the honest truth. And Pace, I know that you do too. It's how you build your audience, not how big you build your audience. You know, the quality of the people that have subscribed, that I've earned the right to have them subscribe, is absolutely incredible. And we get to be involved with them on a weekly basis, which is, for what we do, just absolutely incredible. And so thank you guys all. If you've subscribed to either of our channels, that's incredible. If you haven't subscribed to either one, make sure that you do. You're going to get incredible value. We really pour our heart and soul into it. So there you go.
So Charles,
by the way, Pace, we still haven't gotten those 600 likes on iTunes for the podcast. I mean, it gets over 130,000 listens, not downloads. People don't get fooled by downloads. They automatically download. We're talking listens every single month to the Wholesale Hotline. Guys, it is like really custom episodes that we have in there. And we've got Jerry Norton on there now. Are you kidding me? He puts out stuff every weekend for us on Wholesale Hotline. If you haven't checked that out, make sure that you subscribe and do us the honor of giving us a review. It takes about 45 seconds. That'd be awesome.
Love it. Charles Southwick asked the question, who do we contact on the fix and flip credit offer? Charles, if you are a sub-2 student, I will not do this for anybody else because I coach you guys inside of the program on basically every week. Only if you are a sub 2 student. I'm sorry. And I know Charles is. He's a newer student. So I'm telling you this to you, Charles. Molly at AmericaHomeOffers.com. Her email is right here on the screen. Molly at America.
Sorry. We're playing. Sorry, Pace.
Oh, no worries. Molly at America Home Offers. It's on the screen. Do not type American and then come to my DMs and say she didn't reply. It's Molly at AmericaHomeOffers.com. All right. What did you see?
Lucia, this is a podcast. This goes out on either Monday or Tuesday, but the rest of the 6 episodes is completely different on the podcast. Check it out.
Love it. Okay, so Pace, what do you do with a house, 3-bed, 2-bath, ranch style, sitting on 6+ acres in Charlotte, North Carolina? That's a great question.
It's a broad question.
It does. I don't know what's the ARV? What's your purchase price? What's the condition of the house? Is it cash? Is it terms? You got to give me more, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Luis,
Brent, what would you do if I gave you a car?
Yeah. Wait, is that somebody's comment?
No, I'm just saying it's like it's so ambiguous. Like I don't know what.
Yeah,
like,
I know. No, but Luis, when you're trying to get on any of these shows, remember, or just when you're out there and you're talking to other people that you're networking with, remember, you need to know the 4 pillars, right? You need to know the 4 pillars of pre-qualifying it. What is the condition? What is their timeline to sell it? What is their motivation to sell it? And what is their price? That is so critical to understand. And if you really want to round out the 7 parts of a perfect call that you have with a property owner, you have those 4: condition, timeline, motivation, price. That's what you're trying to pull out. So that's the scaffolding of the questions that you're asking, is to try to pull that out. And then the skills of communication are really important. Number 1, you want to be an active listener. Sure. Yep. Got it. Yep. Yep. Right? You got to be an active listener. Number 2, which Pace is the absolute master at, is confirming and approving what they're saying. You don't build friction into a conversation by telling them they're wrong or they're crazy or whatever else. You confirm and approve what they say. And the 3rd one is when they ask you a question, answer their question and then ask a question. Don't do the question in a question. Answer their question and then ask them the question immediately, and you'll be back in control of finding out what you need to about those properties, if they need the cash or if they would consider terms. So those are the 7 things of the perfect call. If you want to download for that, that's at ttpinsider.com, ttpinsider.com.
You want to know something cool that we did last 2 weeks?
I do.
Do you remember Robin Hurt?
Oh, yeah.
We got her first deal ever.
Get out of here.
Yeah, she got
animal.
Yeah, she closed her and I got on the phone together. She closed the deal. It's a sub 2 deal, saving a 90-year-old woman from foreclosure. No, she's not 90. She's probably 71, 72. She's really old though. She's 7 years, hasn't been able to make her payment. She moved in with her sister and she's going to lose her house and, all the things. So Robin closed the deal. Robin's doing the transaction coordination as well. It's her first deal, sub 2. She's making $10,000 on it, which is great. She's also she's into 2 other deals. Another one's going to be a flip in Atlanta, and another one's going to be a 22-unit Airbnb that she adds into her portfolio with me and 5 other partners, which will be cool.
Love it.
But here's the coolest thing last week. We trained 2,000 newbies to do nothing else except submit their first offer.
Love it.
And we taught them how to get their first offer rejected with grace.
By the way, real quick for Robin.
Yeah. Boom, 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 boom.
That was an extra long one for you, Robin. You deserve it. That's incredible. I want a pie.
And the most important part for it is that I did this challenge the last couple of weeks just to help Robin gain some momentum, and she's done that. She's got continual momentum, and she, because of her, 1,375 people submitted their first offer in one day last week. We broke the Guinness World Record of the most offers submitted in a day.
Love it.
Next month, one of the representative of Guinness is going to be coming in our challenge, and we will be trying to submit 2,000 offers as a group in one day. People that are brand new, that are like, I don't even know how to comp. We're teaching them how to submit their first offer and get over their overthinking. And people have been DMing me this whole weekend going, dude, I've been trying to learn this for 3 years and I finally took action. You got me to freaking take action.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, if you were in the Elephant Challenge last week, we are no longer calling it the Elephant Challenge. That was just for 2 weeks. We are calling it from now on the invite-only challenge. You have to be invited into the challenge to get in. I am not promoting it anymore. You have to get invited by another person who's in the challenge to get into the challenge. Okay, so there you go.
Yeah. So Angela says, some of your old videos, you talk about knucklehead wholesalers tying up a house and let the seller down. I don't want to be a knucklehead. I'm stuck between fear of being a knucklehead and taking action. Angela, welcome to the club. I mean, totally 100%. Every single one of us has gone through this. All right. Number one, listen, you can't, and Pace is talking about it right now. You can't progress in this business without making offers. You can't make a solid offer without pre-qualifying them and understanding, do they actually want to sell it? Have they made the decision that they are going to sign a piece of paper document, the deed, that is going to transfer title from them to somebody else? So you have to find those things out, right? And then you have to go and you got to find, okay, what is a no-brainer price on this deal? And if you actually go and talk to the cash buyers, they will vet the property and give you their buy price. It's something that we all do in the beginning, and we certainly did it with Keegley, and I know Pace, you did it with Keegley and Jamil a ton. Getting going is, okay, what would you buy this property at? Okay, great. I'm gonna work backwards. That's how you really stay secure with these offers, because you already know that it's pre-sold. So now you just have to discover what price does the homeowner want for this, and does that match up and align with how much you want to make selling it to your cash buyer? So that's really important, is find somebody that you know is really closing deals, have those conversations, talk to the cash buyers, and really understand what they're buying and what prices they're looking for, and you will be so confident going out there that you'll go and lock up that deal. You will, and maybe they'll help you. Maybe they'll go on the appointment with you and still pay you the $10,000, $15,000. So that's what I would suggest you do. Cindy, look at that smile. Cindy's crushing it.
Yeah, Cindy was part of my challenge last week. It was really funny because we did it was a 10-day challenge, and some lady named Alice comes in on like day 7, and she's like, "Where's the upsell? I'm waiting for the upsell. Where's your upsell?" I was like, I go, "You don't know me very well. I'm like, the whole time I've been saying, don't join my mentorship this whole time." And she's like, "Yeah, but I just don't believe it." She's like, none of this can be free. This is crazy. I'm like, "I promise you there's no upsell. We're just trying to get you guys to get action taken." We scream all the time, take action, take action, take action. So last 2 weeks, I decided to shut my damn mouth about taking action and force you guys to take action with me. And so I got on the phone with agents, I got on the phone with wholesalers, I got on the phone with cash buyers, and I actually stopped and made 2,000 people take the actions that I was doing simultaneously. I wasn't giving you homework. I was saying, open up your software, open up your this, let's do it together. And people were making the calls, submitting offers while I was calling and making and submitting offers. It was freaking unbelievable. It's very, very cool.
Were they on market, off market? What was it?
They were primarily, we locked up a couple off market, but I didn't want to, I'm going to advance the training every month. So I'm going to do it for the next 12 months. I'll do it 3 days every month for free. This is not a paid challenge or anything like that. But what I'm doing is I'm making it so people, their accountability. Go ahead, ring the deal.
Jaime?
Yeah, do it.
2 deals assigned for a $50K profit. You can't do that in this market. How dare you? How dare you? Jaime, that is too much money. $50,000 from a couple conversations with property owners. Look at you. Absolutely incredible. That is awesome. Congratulations. We celebrate you.
Daniel Gaiusti. Gaiusti.
Yes.
Do you invest in student rental properties in college towns? No, I do not. Not that it's not a great investment strategy, but I also don't invest in lots of other things. There's too many ways to make money in real estate. And so I kind of focus on what I want to focus on. I have single family rentals and sober living and Airbnbs here local in Arizona. I have a lot of multifamily and Airbnbs outside of the state of Arizona, but I don't want to deal with college kids out of town. Okay, and here's also what I've learned. Okay, I don't want to buy one deal in each state. I kind of focus on little nucleuses so I can have property managers manage them. And so unless I can buy 3 or 4 college deals in a week, I'm not going to go focus on that. It's too slow of a strategy for me at my phase right now. But I know 5 years ago, Pace would have been like, yeah, let's do one of those per year or 2 of those per year. I'm at a point now in my business where this year, I had a goal of acquiring 500 doors, and we will acquire close to 1,000 doors by the end of the year. And I can't acquire 1,000 doors in college town rental properties. Not that it's not a great strategy. It's just not currently the strategy I'm using in my current phase. Do not copy me. Do not emulate me until you're at my phase. Your phase that you're in right now is perfect. Stay on track. Stay on track.
Yeah. And Daniel, wait about 90 days to 6 months and watch those things fall like stones if they're in rough shape. If those students have beaten those properties up, which students beat those properties up, and people are going to, it's going to be a fire sale if they have to sell them. Because a lot of those people bought them in the downturn last time and have held on to them. They've done well. They've made money. They've done their thing. But if they've been beaten up for 7 to 10 years with student living, there's going to be some phenomenal deals.
Claudio Diaz had a really good question. Let's touch on this. And I got another one right after this. PB&J, even with everything going on in the market, wouldn't you say this is one of the best markets we've ever seen? Yes, it's my favorite market right now. There's so much opportunity out there. You wouldn't even want to change it. I was just telling my team today, we have too many opportunities. We have to start saying no to some stuff. This is becoming a problem. Last year, I was like, we need more deals. We got a lot of private money. Now this year we're like, we don't have enough money. We don't have enough private money. We need more. We have too many deals. There's so many freaking deals going on, guys, and it's only going to get better. The discounts are going to continue to come down. This is a great time to get in.
Well, they predict interest rates at 7.25% to 8% by the end of the year, come down to the mid 6s by the first quarter of next year. We'll see. You never know. There's no magic ball, but as that creeps, so does the buying power of traditional buyers, right? So that's going to affect it. You're going to see a lot of the flippers just flood the market right now. A lot of the people that had been sitting on the sidelines that had multiple properties are going to put their properties on the market. That's going to empty out the clip. We're going to get into a more normal market where it's kind of normalized, where people that really have to sell are going to have to, we're going to be of service to the most people. It's going to be kind of like 17, 18, 19, in my opinion. What do you think, Pace?
Yeah, I agree 100%. I 1000% agree with this.
Yep.
Here's a great question too. John Carroll, what happens if rents go down and you're not profitable doing an Airbnb anymore and the property is not profitable, retail or Airbnb? Great question. Here's what I would, John, retype this question. I'll answer it. Okay. Pace, if this logical thing happened to cause rents to go down like it did in blank year, what would you then do? If you can complete that sentence, I will then answer your question. And
are you saying that rents have never gone down, Pace?
Rents went down for a blip in 2008, just a couple percent.
Yep.
Not 20%, not 15%, not 10%.
And that was a bloodbath. I mean, it was a bloodbath of a situation. I mean, that was the perfect housing crisis to be put together with the products that they were putting out there and the loans that they were packaging and everything that was going on. We're not in that market, guys. I mean, we're not fortune tellers, but it just doesn't feel the same way it did then. And we went through it. It just
Hold on. Let me
feels a lot
show this
different.
to you guys. This is a good little graph. I love this is one of my favorite graphs of all time. Okay. This is what rent rates have done since 1914. Okay, so over 100 years of data.
Oh man, can you imagine renting something in 1914?
Okay, show me where rent rates
40.
have gone down.
Yep.
Show me where rent rates have gone down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then right here where the data stops, usually data is about a year to 2 years old. Guys, where do you think it is today? Rent rates have never gone down.
1,500. Yeah.
You're never going to have a rent rate go from $1,500 to $1,000. It doesn't happen. It hasn't happened. In history, it has not happened. In 2008, rent rates went down for about a 6-month period. It's a little blip on the radar of a couple percentage, and then it went right back up.
Yeah.
Now,
listen, they're building so much. I mean, just Google, housing shortage, how many rental properties that they're building right now, how many that they have to build over the next 10 years. It is bananas, guys. It is absolutely bananas. There's only going to be more people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
okay, this is a great question. I'm doing this right now. I'm wholesaling a deal with a solar lease. Brent, what is the answer to this question?
You can. It's more difficult. I mean, when you inherit it, it's a lot easier if they own the solar. 9% of people lease the solar because it's like $40,000 that they charge you to put it on your house to save you $150 in electricity a month or whatever. But it's a lot tougher. You have to find the right investors that are willing to do it. And Luis, you have to get it really low in this market. We've been able to get away with it in the past with the investors inheriting it, but I will tell you what, it's a lot tougher now. Just like doing like leasebacks, that was cool for the last 2-3 years, but now it's like impossible to sell those things. Not impossible, but you have to have a smoking deal. So it's the same thing with solar lease. The issue is everybody that buys it and is on title inherits that lease until it's paid off, which means that at the end of the day, as interest rates are rising, that lease payment adds to the household nut every month, and it's it really pushes a lot of people from buying those properties.
Love it. J-Man says the question was specifically for short-term rental, which was higher than average rent rate. I love that, and I don't think it was. John Carroll replied, by the way, and said, "Oh, sorry, I'm just overthinking a bunch of what ifs." But I will touch base on this answer. I think it's a great question. Let's rephrase the question. Pace, what if I'm renting a property via Airbnb and all of the sudden people stop traveling? That's a logical thing that could happen. I like that question. What if people stop traveling because the economy changes? And then I want to turn that property back into a traditional rental, but the traditional rental rate is not strong enough to cover my mortgage. What do I do then? Well, you could do a handful of things. One, you could sell the property. If you really just were sick and tired of it, you sell the property, get rid of it, right? Two, you could turn it into a furnished finder. Three, you could turn it into a traveling nurse. Four, you could turn it into sober living. Five, you could turn it into assisted living. Six, you could turn it into behavioral health. Seven, you could turn it into battered women's shelter, all of which cash flow better than any Airbnb I've ever seen. The trade-off is that you have a little bit more work. And do you think the government's going to stop paying for sober living, battered women, behavioral health? They never have in history, even in the economic downturn of 2006 through 2010. I'm sorry, 2008 to 2010. Government never stopped printing checks for sober living and battered women's shelter and all of those things. They spent more money.
Yep.
So there's your answer. There is no world where I can't go take an Airbnb and I can't convert it into something else that will cash flow as good or better, as long as I'm willing to sacrifice and do a little bit more work to earn that.
Yep. There you go. Love Chat is back, by the way. They are relentless. Look at these guys. Guys, if you guys were as relentless with your leads as Love Chat is in this show, you would have so many deals. So lovechat.xyz. Wow, they are just wow. All right. But yeah. Listen,
I think that is true. If you guys were as consistent, persistent, and as spicy as Love Chat XYZ,
I mean, are you kidding me? They got kisses and a pretty gal. I mean, wow.
How are you guys letting these guys out comment you?
Yeah, yeah. What the heck? There we go. Yeah, that's awesome. So when is the next challenge, Pace? When are you going to do the next one?
Okay, so it's a free challenge, not selling anything, don't have anything to
Invite
sell.
only.
Invite only. And here's why I'm doing invite only. One,
I love it.
I don't want to promote it.
Yeah.
I want the leaders of the challenge to promote it. And I will then run it with me and my team 3 days a month. And I want people to have accountability partners, because here's what I find with challenges. People go do challenges, and then after the challenge is over, it's like the balloon has been deflated and everybody goes back to their bullshit ways of being lazy. And so what I want to do is a monthly challenge where you have homework every single month that not only are you being loved on from people who invited you, but then after you learn for 3 days, your job is to teach the next person the basics of how to open up and comp a property, how to call an agent, how to fill out a contract, and just do the basics. So I'm not teaching creative finance in this challenge. Yes, we've done some, and yes, people have learned a lot because we've walked through a bunch of creative finance stuff. But my sole intention is going back to the basics and teaching people wholesale contracts, assignments, and all the things that people have kind of forgot. Okay. So you guys, how can you get written permission other than an option from another wholesaler when squatting up on a deal? Great question. What do you say? What say ye?
JV agreement.
JV agreement.
Yeah. Yeah. Just get a JV agreement. I think Jamil's posted it like a bazillion times. Right. And if you need one, I'm sure that maybe they have one on Keegley.com.
I have one on acemorby.com. I'm sure you have one in TTP Insider, don't you?
I do. Yeah, I have one on ttpinsider.com. And for anybody, listen, if you're just getting started and just getting rolling, we have unbelievable resources at TTP Insider that really get you going, like kind of step you through how to get your first deal and then and grow from there. But a lot of different guides, a lot of different scripts, a lot of different training that you could get for free. So make sure you definitely check that out.
Love it. So Michelle Tolliver, this challenge is going to go on for a year. And so you guys need to the people that are already in the challenge, stop being knuckleheads and invite Michelle. Reach out to Michelle. Stop being a freaking knucklehead and holding back on her, guys. Help her out. Okay.
It's ttpinsider.com, not ttp.com. I think that's like a pharmaceutical or something. I wish I had that. That would be awesome. But yeah.
Alex asked the question: 2 townhouses in Oregon City, Oregon. Seller owned them outright, willing to do owner finance, but wants a big down and 8% interest. Okay, great. So, Alex, let me tell you a secret. Owner finance and seller finance, creative finance, subject to has been around for over 100 years. Okay. People do this all the time. All the time. You guys would be surprised when you get into this business how common owner finance really is. And so the guy that you're talking to is actually this is not his personal residence. I already know it's not his personal residence. It's probably a rental property that he's looking for somebody that's going to live in the property, and he's selling it on owner finance. And you are not a good fit for that. Somebody that's going to live in the house would gladly pay an 8% interest with a big down payment. That's what I teach you guys to do. Who, for all we know, this could be one of my students trying to sell you an 8% deal with a big down payment. They're not doing anything wrong. It just means that he's probably not your target seller. Go find one. Go find someone else. Okay? For those of you guys that keep asking for the invite, go to my damn Creative Finance with Pace Morby Facebook group. Gosh damn it.
No, keep posting it.
No, don't post it.
He loves it. DM Pace as many times as possible. Invite, guys, please.
Creative Finance with Pace Morby is the name of my Facebook group. Go in there and say, invite me to the challenge. Creative Finance with Pace Morby is the name of the Facebook group. Go in there and say, invite me to the challenge. Okay.
Sarah, every Wednesday, 10 a.m. Arizona time, which is now Pacific Standard Time, we go 2 hours answering questions, celebrating wins, squatting up, the whole thing. Make sure that you join us for that if you want to squat up with a lot of the TTP students. I've got a hidden private group for my TTP students. So they've, we've all connected, and the people that have invested in themselves in the program really connect, and high level stuff. And so we also have Wholesaling Inc. Has a Facebook group, so you can check that out as well.
Ooh, Brent, you want to hear a great question and a great answer that has something to do with you?
Yes.
Okay, so Bradley Knotts, he says, for a wrap deal. So guys, we're talking about creative finance. If you guys want to know what a wrap is, go to my YouTube channel. For a wrap deal, how long do you have to wait to foreclose on the buyer, Bradley? You know you typed that wrong. Bradley's very smart. He knows he typed that wrong. Foreclose on the buyer after sending them a notice of default. Check this out, Brent. I bought a deal from you a couple of years ago.
Yep.
And are
they not paying?
No, they're not. And I'm so glad they're not. It's the greatest thing ever.
Yep.
We are currently foreclosing on them. I sent them a notice of default, and I want to show it to you.
Do you have to wait 90? Do you have to go 90 days?
No, because the way I structure my paperwork. So what we do is we give them a notice of default. Hey, you're in default. We're going to give you 30 days to be polite, even though I don't have to. I could take this property back right now. We pre-signed a deed in lieu of foreclosure so that I don't have to go through foreclosure, but I'm a nice guy. And so we gave them a notice of default. And in, I think, 2 more weeks, we just take the property back, call the sheriff, and get their ass out. Here's the thing. I bought it from Brent. When I bought it subject to, I was all into it like 65 grand.
Yep.
We sold it for 199 at 9% interest.
Love it.
With like 40 grand down.
You'll sell it in 30 seconds.
I'll probably, now we're going to take the property back. I'll probably sell it for $299 with 9% interest with $50,000 down.
Yep.
So Bradley, on Sunday, I'm doing a Zoom all about this. So come in and see me on Sunday in the private sub 2 community. I'll chat with you about it. Check it out.
Ingrid, what's up? Yeah. She says, LOL, I literally just got door knocked by solar people. Know what I did? I recruited them to send me the shitty houses they find. Yeah, there you go. Listen, those people, my acquisition manager, Chad, he was doing that, knocking doors, selling solar during COVID. In 2020, we hired him. The dude's done like, I don't know, over $3 million of income for our company that he's had his hands all over. I'm telling you, those guys are great for recruiting for acquisition managers. Absolutely phenomenal. So maybe get them on your team as a bird dog at first, and then move them up the ladder. That's awesome.
Ingrid Hernandez, any issues wrapping an FHA or VA loan? 0 issues wrapping an FHA or VA loan. An FHA loan has to be wrapped self-performed. Ingrid, you're not going to get a title company typically do that. You'll have to self-perform an FHA, but a VA loan, yes, you absolutely can. We've done it multiple times. And you know my title company, so you should just use that. Okay. Dude, these bots are creative, man.
They're great. They're great. They're getting in there. I don't know how successful they are. I mean, obviously maybe they're successful because they're testing to see what the right tagline is to get unsuspecting people. But listen, it's just testing. It's just marketing, right? I mean, it's annoying, but here we are. The pace just cut out. A minute 30 left in the show.